All right, we'll do a little interlude update. That's what I'm going to call it. I've got this knee wall added up across the top. Like I said, we weren't sure how much wall or no wall there would be, so we've decided just wainscoting up there and down. You know, that'll just be all wainscot, and this will have it on there as well, which will tie the room together a lot like Lebowski's rug. I went to the dollar store and got 8 of these hanging plants that have this detail and had this shape. I was going to put them try to find 2 things that went together like a spaceship saucer. And then I may even cut like some of this off and then of 2 and put them together, just this detail to detail, and lose some of that overall height. But then I set them in here, and whether or not we cover the top, this plane of the top, you know, being able to appreciate that that's got an opening is, you know, above the eye line of everybody in the house. So certainly here, certainly up there, but, you know, also here. So could it look right? You know, what I'm saying is I kind of like that silhouette. I would bulk up the edge of it, and I may run around this transition with, like I said, EVA foam in quarter, half, or 3/4 of an inch sort of thickness is a nice way to add features like that. And also we've got the ability to add very thin features in just another layer of this same curved cardboard from another tube. So a lot of flexibility. So we're going to work out what exactly the forms on the newel posts are, but I dropped those through those steps up there. And this little, depending on where you are out here, like I said, they just threw down this 1/4 inch of black or whatever this is, and then they painted it black. They wanted to freshen up this surface, and the transition from hardwood to rough surface on the stage, I think, was different before or something here. Anyway, I warned them about floating and rolling around out here, and they said, oh, you know, don't worry about any of that, it'll be smooth. And the point is, it needs to be a perfect flat plane. Because when big things like, we build all kinds of movable stuff here, when they come together, if I do everything in my power to make them perfect, and for the elevations to be perfect, when they come together, they should sit perfectly. And this discrepancy may change depending on where you are, or if some of the wheels are on the black and some of the wheels are out on the hardwood. And I knew it was going to be overlooked because I could see what the guys looked like working on it, and I could see what I was saying was going over their heads. And it just pissed me off then, and it pisses me off now. I think that's kind of the problem. But anyway, I'm having an alignment issue here. So I cranked, at least in this spot, I cranked up this post and went higher than this is actually hanging too low. I went higher than I want it, and I'm going to leave it overnight and see if I can teach and impart some knowledge or some memory, basically, on this lumber system. And when I take it away, maybe it will dip, but not dip as much as it was before. I don't know. That's a technique that works in other situations, but I'm not sure if it'll work here. Here's another problem that we have. This cute little French cleat that I made that aligns this side of this rolling piece and allows us to just need one latch, and keeps us from having a latch sticking out on this nice smooth side that sits together with the other smooth side. Won't work right here. This isn't necessarily where we're going to set this piece, and it isn't necessarily, if it were, it's not as though it's not going to travel there assembled. But we're going to have to modify some set changes here, most likely, and make sure that things stay together sometimes until they get somewhere, or, you know, go together first, or whatever, because right now, long story short, I can't start this cleat all the way up. I can start him at the bottom, but he's not lining up at the top. It's sitting open because the plane of the floor over here and the plane of the floor over there are slightly different. It doesn't take very much, 1/4 of an inch or even less out there, to be 1/4 of an inch or a little bit here. It's all over. So these are the kinds of things that I tried to warn the contractors about, and you know, without a visual aid, you know, I wasn't able to make that stick, apparently. So hopefully these things all come out in the wash. We are waiting on, I threw these corbels from another show in there in case somebody likes how they look. They're, you know, free in a sense. They've been constructed already. They need a little touch up, but this is just bare framing on this side. This is how, because we're going to start with crew tomorrow. I want crew to see that You know, the Luan is the only thing going down all the way to the floor. So like I was saying before, they don't tow this thing to try and stop it from rolling. I want them to see how much, I want cast members to see how much weight is in here and how it's in there so that they feel more confident on these when these are out here. You know, I want them to see that, and you can see now that I alternated in every stud on layout. We went, well, it's hard to see here. Maybe I'll back up. Anyway, we took a diagonal on this one to the left, to the right, 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 throughout. And we get that kind of racking protection out of the Luan skin, but from this piece of Luan to that piece of Luan along this aspect, there was all this room for discrepancy and for things to shift a little bit. So we've locked it all up by triangulating. It's typical structural theory, just like a truss. And I put a stud on every stair rise here. They're actually more frequent than, this is a 16-inch layout here. They're more frequent on every 10 inches or so because of the stairs. But that's because we want to make this look like wainscot, and I don't think we have the money to buy beadboard. So I'm going to put little frames, make little frames and stick them on the wall up there to make it look like sort of casement finish or a different sort of style. There's some here on the, we'll just do a little, I don't know if this is going to work. We'll try the flash. It's right on the front of the stage. Battery low, flash unavailable. Fuck yourself. Now you can't see it. But we'll just put a series of little thin frames. And I didn't want to have to play games either gluing to that Luan and then forevermore that Luan has been used, you know, because this will be recycled in the future. But trying to pin nail it and find a stud in there, I just wanted more rather than less. So we went pretty frequent there. Obviously still have a little piece to fill in there. There's a lot of secondary carpentry to happen on these here. I just wanted the bones, the major stuff, structurally functional and rolling with locks and latches, so kids can start paying attention to body memory and mechanics and how they move and not getting their fingers somewhere. They're going to get pinched and not kicking this cardboard tube, and how these are just, you know, hollow, and I haven't even glued them yet. So if anybody grabs this and breaks it, I can easily just slip it out and we'll make a new one instead of it being glued and being broken. I'm trying to be wise. I've learned over the years of doing this what to expect, kind of. So I don't know what to do about that. I hope that these slight problems here that seem to be based kind of on the floor are going to go away in one way or another. You just have to have a perfectly flat plane or you get into all kinds of pickles, basically. Anyway, I'm really happy with this overall. I did a cursory clean. The kids will do clean and they'll mop for tomorrow, and the custodians and stuff can clean up my sawdust mess. I like to do what I can, but not go overboard. And it's time to get out of here. So I'm going to hit the work lights and take off. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.